Hey everyone, welcome to this CMF Running podcast. I'm Charlotte Milne, run and strength coach, and this is Kim Moffat, run and health coach. And like I said, we're both from CMF Running. And welcome to this podcast. Today we are talking about strength training and running. Today, as I am the strength coach, Kim's going to kind of ask me a few questions, some of those, questions 101, those frequently asked questions about strength training and run training. So hopefully it will clear up some of those what to do's.
Cool.
Yeah. How are you today, Kim?
I'm well, actually. I'm very well.
Awesome.
Yes, I'm doing really well. So.
Nice. Have you done some strength work this morning?
I have. Yes, I did some kettlebell stuff.
Awesome.
Which, that was very good. So that was at home, and I am really enjoying my strength stuff.
Nice.
You are prescribing for me.
Yeah.
Yeah. So there's a lot of questions around strength, and so I'm going to ask you some questions. Why do strength? Like, why do we do strength?
Well, strength training and running, it's good. It's good for prevention of injury. It's good for preventing fatigue. Obviously, especially when we are getting into like ultras, we are going to reach a point of getting a little bit tired, a little bit fatigued, but hopefully it will prolong when that happens.
Mm-hmm.
It's good for muscular endurance. It's good for posture. It's good to make you feel good.
Mm-hmm.
That's sort of like the general sort of good
the basics
basics of why you should do some strength training and running.
Yeah. So it benefits running through just you're feeling strong, your posture's good, and it just builds more muscle, right? Like it just makes us hold ourselves better while we run.
Yes.
And then that sort of prevents that fatigue, I guess.
Yeah, for sure. And obviously running is, depending on where you are, well, it is a very high impact sport, and, it's sort of, I suppose, high impact sports that you can be prone to injury. And by working sort of your muscular system and your ligaments and things like that, you will hopefully prevent those injuries. So when you do go out for that run, and especially if you're doing quite a hard session, you have strong muscles and ligaments to take that impact, opposed to just sort of relying on running itself to get you faster and get you stronger. And another benefit is it sort of helps you learn how to engage different muscular groups. So I don't know if you find after you've done some strength training, and then gone for a run, and things like your glutes may be quite activated, and you can spring off your foot a bit better. And also I'm a big fan of core strength with running, and even your upper back. If you've done some upper body stuff, your posture can be better, and you can just run way more efficiently.
But your core is not just your abs. You don't have to get that 6-pack thing, right?
No.
So your core, it starts what from here?
Well, I just sort of think your core is from your hips to your shoulders. It's your torso.
Yeah.
So it kind of includes your arms and your upper back.
Yeah. And
you're right. With running, we don't need to have a 6-pack to be a good runner.
No.
But we need to have a stable core. Core stability. Keep it so core stability. So you're not flopping over.
Yeah.
And you're able to have enough strength in your core to keep you upright for as long as possible.
Yeah.
Especially if you're doing fast stuff like 5K.
Yeah. And it does make a difference, right? So how, I guess there's no magic number, but, you know, how often, maybe like we'll start like from the beginners, would you sort of say to do strength?
Yeah, good question. It does range. Beginners, once a week, even 20 minutes is enough.
And you can fit that into your day, right? Like, you know, 20 minutes isn't that long. Yeah.
No, well, I suppose it comes down to, you know, when there's a desire to do something, we find time.
Yeah.
Um,
That's right.
yeah. And with strength training opposed to like running, like maybe the sort of effect, the endorphins, the mental release, all that kind of stuff doesn't come so instantly, but it does come. It just takes time. So, you know, if you're not doing strength training because, you know, it's not going to give you what you want immediately, but trust me, like if you do give it a chance, it will come. And so 20 minutes once a week, that's a good starting point.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be hard. You just have to do it. And then, it can range from there, you know, depending on personal preference, where you are in training, your run training sort of like cycle, your previous experience, and sort of like the types, I guess, of training as well. I think a good like base level for the sort of mid to sort of mid to sort of upper pack, maybe like 3 times a week for like half an hour-ish, is like a really good base. And, you know, when I say half an hour, I don't mean like, do an exercise, go to the gym, do an exercise and look at your mirror in the mirror for like 3 minutes to 5 minutes and then go back again. Like I'm probably meaning like quite sort of you're going in there and you're going with a purpose.
Yeah.
You know, maybe if you want to look in the mirror, you could go there for an hour. So you get like a good half an hour worth.
Yeah, use those mirrors.
Don't use the mirrors. Use the weights, not the mirrors. Not speaking from personal experience or anything.
So 30 minutes of intense, like that's all
you
need, you know, and whatever else you do after that's up to you.
Yeah, for sure. For sure.
Yeah.
Like it's look, you know, with as much as important as important as strength training is for your running, it's not like running is still the main form of training.
Yeah, that's right.
Like at the end of the day, running is the main form of training. The strength training is this there to like help and complement the run training. So just like I said, but it's sort of like, you know, if you want to do more, if you want to do like a couple of hour sessions a week, go for it. You know, and that might be, you know, more at the gym than maybe at home. But it's just, and then in terms of like your training cycle, like, you know, if you're getting like kind of close to an event and your run training is quite high, then maybe not having such a high,
like backing off a bit.
Yeah, a little bit.
Yeah.
So, you know, if you've done like a good like strength block with, you know, like sort of low to medium run training, like you're going to bank those gains, you know, and so that when you do get closer to, especially if it's like an ultra or even actually marathon, like marathon training is pretty intense as well, like you can back off, but you haven't gone, you've got a good base, you know, got a good base to fall back on. So and it's just like pulling the strings of the types as well of strength training.
And that's sort of where a coach comes in to sort of like be able to guide you on that. And the other thing I was going to say is that like with strength, it is gradual like that. You sort of notice a difference, like it doesn't come instantly. It's like with running, like your running improves if you keep doing it. And it's the same with strength, I reckon. Like it's just, if you're commit to either 1 day a week or 3 or whatever, like, you know, that progress is there, like it's happening all the time, like your body's adapting all the time. And then that, yeah, like you said, it just sort of just goes well. You'll notice a difference with your running and when doing strength. I did. Like that was my experience. Doing more strength over my miler training, like just like there was a lot of load like with running, and then there was load with strength. But yeah, I just found that I was I just felt strong basically by doing, I think, that strength. I mean, the running was there, I had a good base, etc., and I was just building on top of that, but just adding in 3, maybe sometimes even 4 times a week, there was a difference.
Yeah, I think that's where, like, that prolonging of fatigue,
Yeah, that's right.
You are, you're just sort of like lifting up that sort of that base of strength training. So every time that you're going out for a run, like you're not like falling back on like tired legs or like a tired body, a fatigued body. So it's like holding you up.
Yeah,
it's holding you up. Yeah,
that's right. That's right. So I guess we've sort of like already sort of said a few things about this, but the types of strengths, like we've got maybe doing stuff at home and then going to the gym, or was there
types of strength training. I think there's sort of like do single leg exercises for runners is a very like known thing, and sure, I do do believe that single leg exercises are good for runners. I'm quite funny about them, to be honest. I find them a mixture of slightly boring so yeah, I suppose my like kind of my like background of strength training is like I've gone to the gym for like 17 years now, and I've done like a lot of types of I've just not run and sometimes done just strength, and it's been quite high impact at sometimes, and it's just from. But then at the same time, I've also started running when I was like 15, 16, so around the same time as well. So like I suppose what I have done has kind of worked for me as well, over those years. But in terms of like the things that are actually like good for runners, the sort of like single leg exercises are good. I like to chuck in a bit of balance stuff with that as well, maybe to keep it a bit more interesting. I sort of had a love-hate relationship with step-ups. Do you like step-ups?
Yes, I do actually. No, I do.
Oh, okay.
Yes, and I do.
I find them quite boring and hard.
Right.
It's like the combination, boring and hard, is not a good one.
Just put some good music on.
Yeah. I don't do them when you want to.
Yeah.
Funny. But with saying that, I do seem to have like I think there's a good like 5 exercises that I sort of go back to quite a lot.
Yeah.
And they actually have quite a lot of core related into them. So core strength, and that's like a big like philosophy of mine, like with the strength training, is having a strong core, being able to engage your core, not just like it be there.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's the thing, isn't it? It's like, it's not just about lifting a weight. It's like really sort of engaging in what you're doing, focusing on each movement or whatever. It's
kind of like your aerobic run, right? At the end of the day, like an aerobic run is just running between a certain heart rate for you, and there's sort of nothing different about it apart from practicing it. And so with doing like some strength exercises repetitively, how it gets better, it becomes more granular. So like being able to engage more muscles, as you sort of get used to it. So obviously once you know how to do an exercise and you've got good technique, like it's, it comes automatically.
Yeah, that's right.
So then you know how to do it automatically. So it's like, then it's like thinking about sort of different muscle groups. So like your core or your glutes or your upper back, your posture, your shoulders, and it's just like things like that. So instead of like progressing the exercise or changing it constantly, to try to make it more interesting, you can kind of like make it more interesting by, narrowing in.
Yeah.
I think that's what I kind of like to do, and also just adding in like resistance, like a resistance band to some of those exercises can just make a subtle difference to make it a bit harder without it sort of like totally screwing up your like technique. And yeah, so that's kind of like a good place to start. It was a very long-winded sort of answer that question. But also, yeah, I am also a big fan of like doing squats. There's so many different types of squats, whether it's body weight, resistance band, with dumbbells, with kettlebells, with a barbell. I like them all. And in the squats, it's good to like, again, figure out how to do them, get to know how to do the movement, and then you get better at gauging your glutes and things like glutes, and yeah, you kind of build from there. And and like just like the normal things like lunges, and deadlifts are really good. They might be like something a bit later, especially with an Olympic bar doing deadlifts, but you can definitely do them with kettlebells as well. And then there's like kettlebell stuff like swings and around the world, which is like a core exercise, like side crunches. The sort of
you can put so much into 30 minutes, really, couldn't you?
Yeah, a good place to start really is going on to Trail Girl Charlotte YouTube and doing some of my workouts. It's a good place to start. And then, if you're like, I suppose actually, if you haven't been to the gym before and you're interested in going to the gym, like finding a personal trainer or a strength coach at a gym that has a bit of a background also in running may be appropriate. Especially if you could just go to them for like the 1 or 2 times.
Yeah.
That could just
be
so
you get an idea, I guess.
Yeah.
And get some sort of program, especially if you're a beginner. Because that was sort of the other sort of question I had was like, like if you wanted to just do home workouts and then advance to the gym later on, like what would be like the basic equipment that you could get, which isn't going to cost a fortune, but it's going to be
so dumbbells, if you can, I'd recommend getting a pair of dumbbells that are suitable for your lower body and a pair that's suitable for your upper body. But if that's not possible, just get like that in between weight. I have 4 kilo dumbbells that I've had, and I find them pretty good for both my upper body and lower body. And then like a kettlebell, again, it's kettlebells, you can do a lot with them, and sometimes you need a heavy one and sometimes you need a lighter one. But again, around depending on where you are, sort of like that 8 to 10, maybe if you're a female, and maybe like around 12 if you're a male, is probably a good sort of starting point. 12 or 16 depending for the male. But yeah, like that kind of is probably a good starting point. And also just a pair of some resistance band, maybe of variety of resistance as well, and the mini band ones. Those are 3 really good pieces of equipment, and maybe a mat as well. But obviously, if you did your strength training inside and you could just do it on the carpet or whatever, that's obviously fine as well, or the grass outside.
Yeah.
So that's where I would start for like, if you're new with those sort of like 3 pieces of equipment.
Yeah.
That's a good one.
And as you said, like if you wanted to go to the gym and you're still unsure, then maybe get a personal trainer for a few weeks or whatever. And just so you get confident as well. I think sometimes, I know for me, gyms can be quite intimidating. But so that's why maybe, getting a personal trainer might just help with that.
Yeah, definitely. And I think another important thing to sort of like think about if you are going to the gym is like the type of gym. Like,
Yeah, that's right.
yeah.
Yeah.
So quite often at gyms, no one is actually looking at you because they're just too busy looking at yourself. Like I
There's the mirrors.
referred to back earlier. But it was saying that like yeah, I know yeah, I know some people like yeah, certain gyms are intimidating.
Yeah.
And yeah, there's plenty of gyms out there. So yeah, find one that you could make work, and also maybe go at a time of the day that works for you. Maybe if you're a bit on the sort of like shy or like intimidated kind of end, you could go at a quieter time of the day.
Yeah.
Um, and also, it's just like anything, right? You know, the more you go, the more confident you will get, and the more you will grow in the gym.
Yeah.
And also, yeah, and if again, like if you're like not like fresh, but maybe if you have a little bit of a background in the gym, like another thing I do is I prescribe like strength programs
Yeah.
to people. And I have done like little YouTube shorts on each exercise. So like even something like that could be all you need, to get you started without feeling like totally out of your depth. I know Michelle, Michelle, my client, she was kind of in that category where she'd gone to the gym, but it was like years ago. And then she started going, and I made her program. And there was like quite a lot of videos on it, and she kind of managed to be able to do it.
Yeah.
So yeah.
So where would we find you? Like, where would we get all these videos, and how would we contact you for?
So yeah, you would find me on Trail Girl Charlotte YouTube.
Yeah.
There is lots of the videos on YouTube are follow along. They're around 30 minutes. I'm just currently releasing a new series at the moment. It is kind of coming out. It's a 6-week series, but it's sort of coming out
Slowly.
Yeah. If you're a member, you get like a pre-release, but it's a 6-week series where the idea is 3 workouts a week for half an hour. They're all dumbbell or some resistance or body weight.
Yeah.
And yeah, they just sort of go for half an hour, and
Yeah.
then you're kind of done.
Yeah.
So there's that. And also you can find me by like on Instagram, or you can book in a call with me. I can put a link below, and we can sort of discuss more about your strength training, and other options like prescription programs or just a general chat.
Yeah. That sounds cool. So yeah, I think we've covered most things.
I think so.
I think the other thing, just sort of like a side sort of question, is some people like to do like double days. So they like to run and do strength on the same day. So either they run first and then do strength second, or vice versa. Like, would that be a like more of an advanced runners sort of regime, or would you sort of suggest that for beginners, like trying to, if you're time poor but want to try and get in strength and running? Yeah,
there's a lot to that question, and as a beginner, you could do that, and as an advanced you could do that. And because if you're a beginner, it's highly likely that your strength is going to be sort of on the easier end, and your running is going to be on the easier end. But yeah, at the same time, there is merit if you're like more at sort of like the advanced end, like having a like I personally love it. I don't know about you, but it's good having a bit of training load going into your run. So maybe doing a heavy sort of strength workout and then going out for a run afterwards.
I noticed a big difference.
Yeah, what did you notice?
Yeah, like I was just more had more energy.
Yeah.
It's almost like doing a heavy, for me, heavy load strength workout and then going out for a run. I just felt a lot more energized, and my body was just able to cope with that run. It was like a flow on effect. So yeah, so it worked. It works. I mean, it worked for me, and it works for you. But you don't have to do that every time you go for a run either. Like, you could just do like double days, like once, twice a week. I don't know, like however.
Yeah, yes, they are beneficial. And I think, like you kind of said, like it does, it is sometimes can be quite hard on your body if you go from sitting to running hard.
Yeah.
And obviously, like strength training gets your like muscles fired up. And it does get some endorphins going, and some feel good factors. So when you do go up for that run, you're feeling like invigorated, and lifting weights does do things.
It does do that though.
It releases all those happy hormones. And it makes you just feel strong.
Yeah.
And in terms of, you said something else that was quite good, heavy training, heavy strength training.
Yeah.
And heavy is subjective, right? Yeah. Heavy also can be change on certain days of how you're feeling. So a way to get injured, right, is being a bit tired and then going and doing this hard out strength workout and then going for another run. Like it's all, there's a lot of factors that go into is this the right decision or not the right decision? And generally, like, if you're feeling good, good, and you do, strength training, then running, it should be all good. But if you're like, you just have to, always, so it's just with any sort of training, right? Taking all sort of like the outside factors and like when to say no and when to say yes. And like, and sometimes it's like the wisdom to know the difference if to say, no, I'm not doing the strength training today, but I think I'll be okay to do the run, or no, I'm not going to do the run, but I'm good to do the strength training. So, that's when like maybe you do have like a double day and you do have a coach. That's when a coach is really good to like, talk to and sort of say that to them. Because we don't.
You got to listen to your body all the time. Like if your plan says that, and then you've already got a lot of stress, whatever external factors are happening, you're not going to get much benefit out of doing a big heavy load and then a run, because it just adds
too much training load.
Plus, like then feeling more stress. So having like a coach to guide you and to change things and to listen to you, and like, your lifestyle is different from, other people's. And then to make it work for you, because we want it to be enjoyable, right? Like we want you to do strength and running as you want, there's no point in doing something that is going to be a drag. So working out when you can fit it in, and then or if things change. And
like hopefully by doing the strength training, you acquire more knowledge around strength training. So you sort of have, like a basket of like, strength exercises to pull from, and you can sort of like think, what's suitable for me today. And like, that's another possibility. And like, I suppose just like run training, like I sort of can periodize like some strength training with clients as well, especially as they progress. And it's but at the same time, like we just kind of like said that sometimes it might not be appropriate to do those jump squats because you went for a run yesterday and you got a little niggle. It's kind of things like that you have to weigh up. But that's just part of training, and sort of when to say no and things like that. And I think lastly, like just, a common question I think is like, do I run first? I get this all the time from clients, unless I say it. Do I run first and then do strength training, or do I do strength training and then running? And both are right. Like when we were training for when
you sort of were.
That's what it was. Training for Faultline Ultra. Mila and we did gym, and then we went for like a 4 8-hour run.
Yeah.
Obviously, like those both obviously the run, even though it's second, is like probably the main event. But I think where you are in the training cycle, like, we wanted to put some like heavier load going into that run. So there's like things like that kind of you need to consider. But on a day-to-day basis in the week, I usually like to schedule strength first and then running. The run afterwards may not be like, well, it just depends on anyone and where they are in their training cycle and where they are as an athlete. But yeah, it's to hopefully get them to feel that like engaged. They feel engaged, like
things are firing.
Their glutes are firing, their posture's a little bit better, their core's turned on. So that's generally the way that I like to do it. And yeah, I suppose the other way around, maybe if like they have like a speed session, like an interval session, and maybe they're like a little bit newer, that I'd put the run first, because and then the strength, because if they went and did the strength training first and they were a little bit tired from it, then they went and did like these hard intervals, like then they might get injured. So it's just like things like that, and then it's just giving it a go, right? Giving it a go, because we all respond to things differently. And so some people may not even like respond very well to doing double days.
That's right.
Might be too much for them.
Or you could just build up to that, or not, like, and again, it's like there's no right or wrong. But and again, we just go back to, that's why, it's good to talk to someone like Shah, and then they can, and you can prescribe, depending on where you're at and your running, because even things like yoga can be strengthening as well, so doing something like that, so there's different types, and so where to start, going back to that question, or if you have any other questions, if we've missed any questions, please reach out, I guess. And but Trail Girl Charlotte, you're on YouTube, and great workouts. I will, yes, very good. And not only have you got your series now, but you've got other series, so you can,
been making,
scroll back.
Yeah. You can scroll back. There are quite a few, and there's a variety of workouts as well on there, from single leg exercises to those dumbbell sort of workouts as well. And it's all suitable for all levels as well. Yes, I was going to say, with the questions thing, that would be great, because we're going to make a series about strength training for you guys. So if you have any burning questions about strength training that we haven't covered today, or want to know a little bit more about what we have covered today, please feel free to reach out.
We'll put the links below on how you can do that as well, like how you can reach out. That will be good.
Cool. Well, last but not least, make sure that your strength training is fun.
You got to have fun. Definitely, you got to have fun, and start slowly, and trust the process.
Yes, trust the process.
It's really important. All right. So we're
finishing?
Yep. We'll go now. And yes, but you can reach us, Trail Girl Charlotte, or CMF Running,
or Kim,
Good Witch Runs. You can ask me some questions. But yeah, Shah's the strength.
You just
coach.
follow her.
You can follow me.
Follow her around, but no,
yes, but yeah, please reach out. I'm sure we've missed some of your questions, and we would love to answer them as best as we can. And yeah, we'll see you next time.
cool. Take care.
All right, see you.
Bye.
Bye.